I loved Africa more than Montreal. That is, that love, that,
Yeah.
can. And in Montreal, people have been so generous, but they all were rich. Like, they
Mm.
had enough. So, like,
Yes, yes,
they gave food or clothes or anything
yes.
out of
Relatively
that.
speaking, compared to other cultures or other places in the planet, we are very privileged. Yeah.
But in Africa, they gave what they had. Like they will have like handful of things and still give. So
Yeah.
for me, that is something I was really surprised. Like kind of, because I received a lot in Montreal, but then, compared to that Africa, I was like, oh my God, these people really gave. It's
Yeah.
like all what they had, because at the beginning I was hesitant to go and drink water because you know so somebody gave me money to buy the water bottle, so
Mhm.
I was shocked, and so that is something I felt like their generosity is more in
Mhm.
a way than any other country I have really felt,
Yes.
because it's like a natural kind of thing for them
Yes.
it comes from, and very generous in a way, so
Mhm.
that's a very positive thing. And for going to Australia, sorry, Africa also, Montreal paved the path, right? So I'm really grateful that, because I always wanted to do that, but
Mm.
normally they ask for the citizenship. You can't do. So that's why when I got the citizenship, I said, "What do I want to do?" I got that. Then I said, "Okay, I'm going to Africa." On that stage, when I got the citizenship, I made that decision. Because I was like,
Mm.
I didn't need it to become a citizen. Like there was no need.
Mm.
But then I know this is a great opportunity because only the citizens are allowed to go to visit the other country, like serve the other country, especially third world country. So
Mm.
let me use the opportunity, and that's why I really used that, you know,
Nice.
to
Mhm.
the experiences are very rich, honestly.
Mm.
So,
Well, you,
always
you you've made some rich choices as well, right? That made your life rich. I mean, coming to Canada to begin with, I mean, that was maybe more your husband's choice, but still, you came and you took advantage of it, and you learned a lot of things. Other people would, someone even getting divorced, even if they decided they didn't want to stay with their husband, they might have just gone back home to be with their family, right? But you didn't. You took advantage of everything, and you really like I'm gonna say profited from what was offered to you, and you're avid for information, and you're curious to have that curious personality where
yeah,
you're so like, oh, that's so interesting, and you'll just eat it up. So, and you're very, very kind, and that's why one of the reasons you went to Africa, right? You haven't mentioned it, but you wanted to serve people. And so many of
yeah,
the things, I mean, you became a doctor for goodness sake. You became, you helped elderly people. You're very, you have a generous nature, and you're a curious person. So those things made that you're and curious about yourself too, right? So you have all kinds of, yes, the opportunities were there, but you also took them. So that's what makes your life rich and the experiences rich, is because you dig right into them. You're not just tasting on the edge of your tongue. You're like, ah, you know?
very
Hmm.
true. Also, the travel started in Montreal because the first I did is there was a meetup groups. So those days I will find the meetup group and within Montreal itself.
Hmm.
So that is how I started to like go, and then I booked this travel bus and like Kingston, the Thousand Island and all. So first I did the 1 day trip with the travel bus, so completely strangers.
Yeah.
But one day, then I did this. I went to, I don't know, it is more closer to Nova Scotia, I think. 3 day trip I did. So with the travel, so within Canada, I did, and then only the world travel started. And then I
Yeah.
went to Cuba. Cuba was my first solo travel. And I think it is because I never even knew that a woman can travel alone by herself.
Right.
So when I went to Cuba, how many women were alone by themselves? I was shocked. So for me, that was like, because that was the first time in my life I had this solo, like a reason to travel for, because before that it's all about studies or visiting family member, right? There was always a need to
Yeah.
feel I'm going because I want to see or I want to do or anything. But the first time doing it for myself, there was no need, like there
Yeah.
is nobody there. So I think the world travel, Montreal paved the path, and knowing that woman can, and also there are women I have met who were, one girl especially, she was 2 years younger to me, and she was doing it now. At the beginning, I was shocked. I couldn't believe that. Why is she going? Like, what is this, right? But then
Right.
it really made them. In Sri Lanka, I have done the whole Sri Lanka from north to south. I have
Yeah.
complete the, because that is one thing I wanted to do it in Sri
Mhm.
Lanka, to see all the places. So that I'm very proud of myself and grateful that I know this country, which
Yeah.
so that is, and so whatever I did in Montreal, then I decided to do it in Sri Lanka. So
Right.
living alone, right? Because it was not a big deal. I have already done it, but then how I do it here, right?
Yes, it's
So
different in Sri
all
Lanka. It's perceived so
oh,
differently. Sure.
so even I went with a Russian guy to a beach, and honestly, the fear I had, right? I know nobody, but the mindset, because how many times I have been to a nude beach in Toronto. So it was not a big deal to go to a beach in Sri Lanka, but still that mind. So it was
Mm.
100 times more work to do the same thing here,
Of course.
because whatever it was so easy, because there everybody was, nobody doesn't look, and support is there, and also it's normal, right? Like a
Yeah.
girl staying in a house alone is but here it's like a big thing, right?
Right.
So it's a very, a big issue. Even like wearing a shorts, because luckily I have a friend who is a foreigner who wears the shorts. So, but for me to do the same thing, it takes a big courage, big
Of
thing.
course. Yes. Yeah.
So because Montreal only I wore my first shorts, that real, that was a big thing. For me, I was like, the cloth itself, I have to kind of, redo, and, because it's like now I have the choice, right? I can decide what I want, whether sleeveless or covered or everything is possible. But at that time, I did the sleeveless because I have to break my fear.
Yeah.
So it was a real journey.
Mhm. There's that Maureen courage again. It's just most people just have their fears and stay within their fears and limit their life. You always push against it. You always wonder, do I have to feel this way? And maybe I can do it differently. And that's what's always really interesting to me and inspiring about you. Mm, mm.
I'm so grateful to you, Kelly. Oh my
Mm.
God, and also